Okay, voice test 111. Uh, okay, voice test 111. Uh, okay, voice test 111. Uh, yeah, we were like almost 30 minutes. ثلاثة دقيقة late on النهار I guess. هون يلا I guess. It has been uh, yeah some time since the challenge got opened. So let's just start reading it. Yep, the code is right here. So now I think we'll use OCaml for today, but I'm not sure. Let's read it and then we will decide. Let's read the puzzle and then we will decide. I think that's correct. Let me just do this. Yeah, okay. As the forklifts break through the wall, the elves are delighted to discover that there was a cafeteria on the other side after all. You can hear a commotion come from the kitchen. At this rate, we won't have any time left the to put the reeds up in the dining hall. Resolute in your request, you investigate. If only we hadn't switched to the new inventory management right before Christmas, another elf exclaims. You ask what's going on. The elves in the kitchen explain the situation because of their complicated new inventory management system. They can't figure out which of their ingredients are fresh and which are spoiled. When you ask how it works, they give you a copy of their database, your puzzle input. Okay, the database operates on ingredient IDs. Ingredient IDs, okay. It consists of a list of fresh ingredient ID ranges and a blank line, and then a list of the available ingredient IDs. Okay. Okay, the fresh IDs are inclusive. The ranges 3 to 5 means the ingredient IDs 3, 4, and 5 are all fresh. Okay, the ranges can also overlap an ingredient ID. The ranges can also overlap. An ingredient ID is fresh if it is in any range. Okay. Okay, the elves are trying to determine which of the available ingredient IDs are fresh. In this example, uh, okay, the elves are trying to determine which of the available ingredients are fresh. In this example, this is done as follows: ingredient ID 1, okay, um, is spoiled because it does not fall into any range. Ingredient ID 5 is fresh because it falls within the range 3 to 5. Ingredient ID 8 is spoiled. Yep, okay. Ingredient ID 11 is fresh because it falls into the range 10 to 14. Ingredient ID 17 is fresh because it falls into 16 to 20, as well as 12 to 18. Ingredient ID 32 is spoiled. So in this example, 3 of the available ingredients are fresh. Okay, I'm gonna see my puzzle input. Let's look at the puzzle input to approach. How big? Okay, these are very big numbers, so we need to store the math numbers. And then we'll just create a giant list. I think this one's gonna be easy. Right? So let's set up OCaml, GitHub, Fractons. Let's look at an example OCaml project to see what stuff we need to add to our flake. Okay, I think this part one seems easy, from what I'm saying. Okay, do I have to create this thing also to get a? Yeah, I think maybe this might setting up OCaml might end up being complex. It's gonna be annoying. I think I can just add Dune and OCaml Lisp and then be done. I think. Yeah, I don't think we can do that. We need to create a. We need to get a diff packages query and then build. Build a query, create a scope, create an overlay, and override scope, main scope to package. Okay, let's go back to the list here. Yeah, I thought doing something like this would have worked. But if we're gonna use Dune, that's not gonna be enough. So let's just do that, I guess. Okay, because we're just gonna copy paste it. It might take some time to download, but yeah, we need a new input to our Flake. OPAM. Okay, it's gonna be right around here. Then let's go to opam.next, I guess. Opam. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna do this. I think this is not necessary. If it doesn't work, we'll update. So I think what we need is Dune. And then OCaml format, and then maybe packages.ocaml base, or just OCaml, I guess. What's the package? And then packages.ocaml lsp, or lsp server caml-lsp. Okay. Okay, and then I think it should be enough. And then okay, Dune is not there. Oh, I have to say Dune 3. Okay. Okay, we're gonna be downloading stuff now. Let's download our compiler. This is gonna be simple. We're just gonna create a list of ranges. We're gonna create a type called range and then just check it. Whoa, this is really slow. What the heck? Fast.com. I should set up these dev environments before the call. Yeah, this is super slow. It's only downloading, and then I guess we can just in that case we can just start writing a file. Yeah, or we can go to the ocaml.org website, and then they have an online editor. I think maybe we can start working on there. So there is a try the playground. So let's just clear this out. Then what we need is a type of, okay, just go to here, we can use a data reference and then constant, not nice, do memory. You don't need this, don't need that. So we're gonna have a type range equals a start int and an end int, right? Syntax error, syntax error. Oh, I guess it needs to be broken down into multiple lines. Like this. Well, there is a space in front of it. Okay, nope, we can do that. We can't do that. It is not our editor on. And then instead of this, we need to create a range which will have a start and an end. Oh, end is a keyword, that's why it's complaining. So we can say first and last, or first, last. Okay, and then we're gonna create a function called let is in range, and it's gonna take a range. Let's this constructor is right there, first comma last, and then a number num rest comma last. Isn't that how you structure it? By the oh, you do a semicolon, not a comma. Then do that. So this has to be first is They said the only the last one is inclusive. The fresh IDs are inclusive. The range the ingredient. Okay, so it means um, first is greater than num and num is less than or equal to last. Right, and then let's. So the solution is gonna be, and then we'll have a. Right. Fresh ingredients, I guess. Fresh ingredients is gonna be, it's gonna take a list of some nums, and it's gonna take ranges, right? Ranges and nums, and then it's gonna map over each number. For each, I guess let's look at, we have more numbers than we have ranges, so there are a lot of numbers. So I don't know how we should order it. I think they're just going by the IDs in here, so maybe we should go by the IDs, so the numbers or stuff too. So let's call this, I guess we'll call this ingredients. And then, so we're gonna do ingredients. Let's break this to a new line. Place ingredients. Oh, I can't do a tab. Dot, okay, pipe list dot map fun x list dot any or list. We need to find a function that's like at least one any, or I think it's called any in most languages, but they might have all here. For all or exists. Checks if at least one element of the list satisfies the predicate. Yep, that's what we needed. At least one. And then you can say list dot exists is in range of let's do this. So let's reorder this. Num should be the first array, and then we'll use carrying to pass that. Num should be the first num, and then is in range num, or I guess in this case x. Right, and then here we would have a list of the ingredients that exist in at least a single range, and then we're done. I think basically that's it, isn't that? And then I think we need to do a list load sum, but yeah, I'm not gonna do that for debugging reasons. Okay, this is nearly done. We are at least 7 megabytes away. I guess this is just, okay, yeah, 7 megabytes away from finishing the download, and then we can run it. Maybe I can also implement the parsing operations here. So let's do, that's the solution. Let's actually parse the input now. Parse range is gonna be a split. There should be a string, so let's duplicate this, and then let's look at the string. OCaml string, and then there should be a split that gives us 2 tuples. Split on char split Yeah, it gives us a list of yes, this little command parser combinator, but we can't install packages now, can we? Yeah, we can't do this. Let's ignore that. I guess we're gonna do a split. So we're just gonna do a split on car. That's gonna be annoying, but yeah. And then we can take it will give us a list of strings, and then we can take the correct one. Okay, so this finished. Let's go into let's go make their die05, and then in die05 let's do done init part 1, done project, unknown command project. Okay. Oh, and then okay, I have to do done init executable one of okay, executable part 1. That's what you want from me. Library name must contain, okay, it's complaining about the, okay, underscore. Oh, it's gonna be, okay, in that case let's do this then. Remove star, remove build, and then we'll create the part 1 directory, and then we're going to part 1, and then we'll do done init part 1, and then let's do done I think it was done exec, and then something like this. Or we can do done build. I cannot find the root. Oh, okay, done. Okay, so it has to be a project. Come on. We can, this only works if you already have a project and want to add an executable to that project. We don't even have a project yet, so we have to create that first. Project. Okay, this would be, okay, now let's move this to dot, or let's move everything to dot, and then let's do part 1 empty, remove their part 1. Now we can do something like do exec part 1.1, and then do exec part 1. Oh, nice, I lowered it. Okay, now I remember how we can run this thing, and then we need a git ignore here with that dot build, and then it creates tastes and stuff. We don't need those, but yeah, let me just delete those real quick. Lib and test. That done exec command doesn't work because we need to remove it depending from that library we just deleted. And then done exec. Okay, now it works. Okay, now we just have our mini file here, and then let's check if our editor knows about this OCaml. Yep. Okay, so let's do that. And then here let's go into main ml, and then let's go back here, let's copy the code we just worked on, and then select, delete, paste. No, I actually caught a bug immediately. Okay, see, this should be ranges, or I can do just ranges. Okay. So parse range is gonna get a range, and then it's gonna do range dot pipe string dot split on car. It's gonna be dash, right? And then this is gonna be our thing where we do something like this: late in late. I'm gonna call them nums, or I don't know what to call them. And then this should be. Oh, by the way, that's Dune format or Dune format. Yeah, I think we need to create an OCaml format or something like that, if I remember correctly, OCaml format. And then now if I do Dune format, yeah, it tells me there's a syntax error. It can't format it because there's a syntax error. So here we can do match. Okay, we can do we can see that what the type of this thing is. It's gonna be a string list, and it's gonna be, so first is gonna be list dot first, or list dot head of nums, and then second is gonna be list dot end or last. Oh, do we have a last function here, or add or something like that? Ends. Okay, you can say ends, and then nums, and then add index number 1, then it has to be multiple late ins, right? Then we can return a first colon last thing, or this should be first dot first, and then last dot last, no, last equals last. Mistake. But this thing might be an option that they're complaining about here. The value of first has type string but an expression. Oh, int of string, int of string, and then this is second. I guess this should be rename this last for the sake of okay, okay, now that we formatted our file, and it's looking nice, looking better. Okay, so we have our parse range function, and then our parse input is just gonna be yeah. So let's just do this. We should add a parse ranges. It's gonna take a star again, and then, or we can say ranges, and it will do something like ranges, and then pipe that into a string split. Okay, there is a lines here. No, we don't have a line, so let's do just a split on car, and then we'll split on new lines, and then we can do a list dot map, and map each one of them to parse range. Now we have a list of ranges, and then for the parse ingredient is gonna be ingredient, and then we're gonna take those ingredients and then call string dot split on car slash new line on them, and then to do list dot map, and then for each one we can call int of string. Now we have our okay, and then we finally can assemble the parse input. It's gonna take an input and then it's gonna do something very similar to what we did here. It's gonna take the input and split it on I guess it's not split on car but split on okay, this is gonna be annoying. We need a split on string, and then if I remember correctly that was really annoying to do in OCaml. They have trim script, so we need to split via that double new lines, right? Or is there a list dot split? No, it's not it. Okay, OCaml split string by string. Yeah, star dot split. And then it's like a regex, a regular expression. Whoa, okay. So we need to do this, but I don't know if we have star here, a star, or we might need to update our yeah, there are like two OCaml. There is a module for it for like higher level operations over a string splitting. So we have a split here, and it takes a regex and a regexp and the string, and then give us a string. Bounded split, full split. I think this is what we want. So let's just do that, but in order to do that we have to know. Okay, so let's do this. It's gonna be that also. It's gonna be star and dot split, and how do you create those row regexps? It's just star dot regex. Okay, so star regexp, and then give me double new lines, and then just call that on the input, but it's saying it doesn't know about it, if you can see. I think what we can do is if I just do open star, it's not gonna know about it either. Doing exec part one, though it's even saying syntax there, but let's do that here then. So this is gonna be parse ranges of the first, and then parse ingredients of the last, and then let's do an exec. Okay, alert: OCaml deprecated auto include. OCaml's lib directory layout changed in 5.0. The star subdirectory has been automatically added to the search path, but you should add -i plus star to the command line to silence this alert by adding star to the list of libraries in your DOM file, or using adding user to your tags to underscore tags file OCaml build. So I think yeah, that's what I suspected. In our Doom config here, we need to say star, otherwise it won't know about it, I think. And then let's do yeah, I think now it knows about it. It's just complaining that those variables were unused, right? And then let's go to main, and then yeah, let's create our main function. It's gonna be something like this. It's gonna oh, another stupid thing in read file to string in OCaml. This one was also stupid. I remember this being stupid, and that's why people install base. There is so OCaml by itself doesn't really have a standard library. There is a standard library called base JaneStreet. JaneStreet is one of those trading companies, and they build a lot of their stuff on OCaml, and they created the de facto standard base library for OCaml. So yeah, it's like every OCaml project out there installs base because that's literally the standard library. The standard library that's contained within the actual language is really old. It was great for the 1990s, but like for modern days, it's not good at all. It's not good at all. So let me just paste that in. Okay, so yeah, basically we have to do some like open the file handle, get the file handle. There's like a set of functions that operate over a file handle, and that could be your standard out, standard in, or an actual file or a network, and then you have to call that function on the in channel, and then once that finishes, you have to close it and stuff. That's why I said it was annoying. So let's just do input and then read file to string, and then we can say input example.text in, and then let's do let ranges comma gradients equals parse input of input in, and then we can say let fresh equals fresh ingredients of ranges and ingredients in, and then we can say we can say this dot filter, and then we can say here so how do we debug print test no OCaml okay, I guess there is no way we can debug print, so we can do this fresh and then pipe that to list.map, no list dots for each or something like that. Didn't they have a for each? No, it's called an ether, and then this can be a print int. Okay, nice. So let's run our function. Okay, but there is no input director. Input make their inputs example, nope, inputs example.text. Oh, okay, we got an error, exception int of string. Okay, and then in that case let's just look at where we're calling int of. I think maybe we can call a bunch of like int of string. We're calling them at 3 places. What if let's remove the parse input here, and then let's remove the parse ingredients and return an empty list instead. Okay, it's in here. We're getting that in here. Why would we be getting that in here? Let's just look at the first and the last in here before we call anything on it. Then let's do print end line ranges, and then let's do print end line ingredients. Do them like that. How can we disable this actually? That's gonna be annoying. Was there like something like, I think add allow, something like this? Is it a single add? Disable warning. Okay, it immediately starts, but at the end we have an empty string. So I think what we need to do is trim the input here, or in parse input we can call string.trim. Then there's the extra new line is gone, and then we can no, this is not printing 15,811. We're just iterating over the list and then printing the number. So this means 1, 5, 8, and 1, 1 were the fresh ingredients. Or I guess let's do this then. We can do fun rx, then print int x, and then print new line after it. And then this accepts something like that. Okay, 17 wasn't part of our list. Oh, I didn't copy the whole list. Okay, there is the whole list. Okay, dune exec, and then 17 and 32. Okay, 17 is fresh because it falls into the range 16 to 20, as well as it maybe exists exists fails if checks if at least one element of the list satisfies the predicate. If that is, it returns. Okay, or yeah, that's what we want for a non-empty list, and false if it's empty. Okay, but why not 17? Why not 17? So before we did see 16 to 20 being one of those options, but maybe there's something wrong with our is in range function. First is greater than or equal to 17, is greater than or equal to 16, true, and then it's less than or equal to 20. In range access. I don't know why that didn't happen. Maybe it's not being parsed correctly. That's my suspicion. So I'm just gonna go in here and then do the same thing for the ingredients, and then print new line, and then so it is part of the ingredients, but and then let's look at the ranges also. Print new line, then let's look at the ranges for each one. Let's look at the first and last position, and then this is gonna be first print car dash, and then print int again, and then last, and then print new line. Don't exact. What? So why would that be failing? We're correcting the full list of ingredients. That's correct. You're correcting the full list of ranges, and then our is in range function is wrong, or so we pipe the ingredients. So fresh ingredients takes in a list of range list, int list, and returns an int list. What doesn't make any sense? Is in range, num first last, 17 gets called with every single one, and then we get to 16 to 20, and then that's 16, 17 is greater than what? Doesn't make any sense. The parsing is not wrong though, because we're printing them here and then we're saying, oh, this is why is it 12 to 18 at the end? Oh, that's 12 to 18. Okay, that's 12 to 18. Okay. I'm not seeing any errors. What the fuck? The heck? Okay, 32. Is spoiled, so we shouldn't expect that, but why 17 failing? So what we can do is let's call 17 ourselves and actually confirm that it's failing. Print new line, and then let's do let in, and then let's say check, I don't know, let's call this check, and then is in range, and then let's do 17 here, and then the range is gonna be first it's gonna be equal to 16, and then last is equals to 20, right? And then in, and then we can print bool or print Nope, without print. There is no print bool. This should be variable. Then we can say if check, then print inline correct, and then else print inline incorrect. It is in range. This doesn't. How is that? Or what? This is 16 is greater than or equal to 17. Oh, no. Okay, the logic is actually completely wrong. What was I thinking? 16, and then this is 17 is less than or equal to in this case 20. This is true, right? So this is true, but for this one we can say we have to say it has to be something like this, right? It has to be both in both cases. How was this succeeding for the other functions? What? Yeah, should be something like that. Okay, now it's correct. And then we can just remove all this bullshit. And then here we can just do a count, right? Is there a list dot count? Or I guess it's just length. And then we can say print int fresh, and then print end line. Done format load start done exec. Yeah. Okay, let's go into this. Doing format one more time. Okay, and then let's do this. Commit fit implement a 5 part 01. How long have we been streaming? 1 hour. Okay. Part 2. The elves start bringing their spoiled inventory to the trash shoot to the trash chute at the back of the kitchen, so that they can stop so that they can stop what they so that they can stop bugging you when they get new inventory. The elves would like to know all of the IDs that the fresh ingredient ID ranges consider to be fresh. An ingredient ID is still considered fresh if it is in any range. Now, the second section of the database, um, the available ingredient IDs, is irrelevant. Here are the fresh ingredient ID ranges from the above example. The ingredient IDs that these ranges consider to be fresh are 3, 4, 5, and 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so in this example, the fresh ingredient ID ranges consider a total of 14 ingredient IDs to be fresh. Yeah, so process the database file again. How many ingredient IDs are considered to be fresh according to the fresh ingredient? So actually it's saying count ሁሉንም count አድርጉት ምናምን list እያደረጉ ነው ግን what we should be doing is, since it's asking us that how many ingredients, is it asking us for the count or the sum? If it's asking us for the count, it will be easy. How many ingredient IDs are considered to be fresh according to the ingredient ID ranges? So yeah, if it's just asking us for the count and not the sum, we can just do 5 minus 3, 14 minus 10, and just sum those up and then give it that's the answer. So and then we can do, so I think PR, not CP, PR, part 2, what's the answer? It's going to and then part 2, and then we need to rename some stuff here. Part 1 stuff being Dune, this should be part 2. Now we're in part 2, and then Dune project, it should be part 2. Way down there, it should be part 2. And okay, there are no more parts. Okay, and then let's do Dune exec part 2, I guess, in this case. Or we can say move part 1 part 2. Now we can do this. Nice. Okay, and then let's scroll down. Let's go into main.ml in parts 2. Now we just need to do instead of this, we can say they all fresh. It's gonna still okay. Instead of doing this, let's rename this all fresh, right? And then this is gonna be last minus first, but this is inclusive, so 5 minus 3 is gonna be 2, so this is gonna be, I guess, plus 1. Okay, and then fresh count is gonna be ranges dot map all fresh, and then list dot sum. There is some. List dot fold left accumulator and then x accumulator plus x. It's gonna create a sum function here. Let's sum equals dot. Okay, and then parse ranges, parse ingredients, we don't need that anymore. Then parse parse. It's gonna just be parse ranges, and then down here it's just gonna be ranges. It's gonna be fresh count, and then just forget about that, and then let's do fresh count. Let's run this on the example to make like 20. A total of 14. Okay, I guess this should be this is not sum, but instead it's list dot length to do 18 minus 12 dots plus 1, and then 7 7 5 5 10 7 plus 3. Oh, so okay, so we need to do fuck. Okay, so we have to actually generate the numbers, because yeah, there are there are overlapping ranges. Yeah, for example, this 12 to 18, they overlap. What we can do is, I think what we can do is, but so we saw this splitting earlier, right? So split, transform a list of pairs into a pair of lists. No, that's not what we want. I want to actually do the inverse. Okay, combine, maybe combine could be it, but what I'm thinking of doing is, I don't want to generate a list of integers. It seems like the stupid way to do it, because I think this is, because this is relatively simple. Let's try to be smart. What if we just do this? What if we just put them put all of them in a single list? So this would be like 3 5, and like in sorted order, 10, and then 12, and then I guess the next one will be 16, right? No, 14, there is a 14 there, and then 12 14 and 16, and then 18, and then 20. And then what if we consider, so let's create a list of those values, and then let's group them by 2, right? I don't know how we would do that. There should be something like group, or associate, uses physical equality instead. Yeah, association list, not association list, but what do we need? So we need something like group. Maybe we can implement this ourselves, but basically what we need is map to, right? Map to of the odd numbers and the even numbers, and then if we just do the this calculation, the all fresh calculation for that list, it will be 5 minus 3 2, this will be 3, and then 12 minus 10, that will be 2, but this will be 3, then 14 to 16 14, this will be 2, but it will be 3, this will be 2, but it will be 3, so 3 3 3, it will be 12, right? No, that's not gonna work. 5 minus 2 2 2 2 2, be even 8 in this case. What are we missing? It's gonna be 2. Okay, so, and then length 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 8. We're gonna have to, but if we generate the list of numbers, this is gonna be crazy. It's like we need to come up with an algorithm, because if you can see the numbers, these are ginormous. How do we correct the overlapping? I think this is a good way, but I'm not seeing any way to. I'm not seeing a good way to fix Okay, so what if we consider does this need to be a sliding window kind of situation? So we can say, after doing that, 1, 2, so 3, 5, 10, 12, and then 14, 16, and then 19, 20. So yeah, we know that we have 4 times 2, 8 positions that are already in the list, but so between 3 and 5, so it should just be the diffs between plus the length, right? So it should be when we do 3 minus 4, this should be, but like, so it should be like the 2 adjacent ones minus 1, because we, in this case, we want to be exclusive of the right side of, like, we want to be exclusive of the thing we're subtracting from. We want to exclusive of we want to exclude 5, because we want to know how many digits, like the distance. That's what we want, actually, the distance between, the absolute distance between those two numbers. I don't know, but like the distance, or like the distance in the number. So we can do so I think we can do this. 5 minus 3 will be 2, and all of them will have 2. I guess in the current example it will be 2, but if we do minus 1, this will be 4. Our length is 8 plus 4, this will be 12. I don't know, I'm getting 12 numbers, but it's saying it found 14 ingredients. 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this has to be like 8 plus 6 then. 8 plus 6 will be 14. Maybe the lengths plus the diffs we calculated. Okay, let me try that. I've been just talking about it, but let's try this. So this all fresh will now just do minus, but it will not be called on a range. What we need to do for the ranges is do we have a flatten, or yeah, so we need to do let to list a range to list. We can say, give me the first one, give me the last one, give me a list of first comma last, right? And then we can say range to list, and then this should be sort. Do I have to pass in a comparison function to get the sort working? Sort. Stable sorts. Oh, nice. They have a sort unique, so this will remove any duplicates. Beautiful. And then, I don't know, is there a compare? Okay. And then this will be let in ingredients, and then this will be something like, so Okay, this is something like that. And then late events is gonna be ingredients list dot map index, no filter, right? And then I comma unknown, and then I modulo 2 is equals to 0. Maybe this is a tuple. This is I comma like this. Filter I. Okay, in, and then let's do the odds, and then let's do I think this should be mod, like that, mod by. And then mod, you can say not equal to 0. Actually, in OCaml, they used to do this to say not equal to, less than, and then greater than combined. Yeah, but like they've also added this one. So, but let's just do this one to confuse people. Okay, so algorithm is gonna be something like this, right? And then we're gonna calculate the missing ingredients, right? This will be according to this, which will be list dot map to, right? And then we have function first, last, and then we can say, oh, this should be all fresh, and then the first list we're gonna give it is gonna be the odds, right? No, it's gonna be the event because we start with 0, and then the odds. So yep, and then in, and then let's see what this is showing us. Why is this complaining? Oh, I forgot to do a flatten here. This should be a list dot flatten. Okay, and then sort unique, missing ingredients, and then we need to do the count of this, right? List dot length, and then so this will be the list dot length ingredients plus missing ingredients. I think this is the correct way to do this, but I'm not sure. Let's run the example and see. 12. I thought we had fixed that. So what did I forget to implement? What did I forget to implement? I think so I said we're gonna add +6 to it, but so this is gonna be 2, 2, 2, 2, and then this is gonna be 8, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 plus 8. After the sorting, let's do a done format actually. Done format. So we did that. Oh, I think this is not sum. This should be sum, not links, because like we're the diff is telling us how many how many numbers there are between those two last and first number we gave it. So yeah, I think it should be something like this, but now it's 16 because this should be 6 numbers, not so we already know about 8 numbers. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 numbers, and then each one of them are missing 1 in between all of them in our case, right? Or no, in some cases they're missing 1, in some cases they're missing 2. So here they're missing 11, here they're missing 4, but like for these ones there are ranges we are skipping because of the even odd stuff. So this has to be a sliding window. So how do we, is there a map with a sliding window? Yeah, this is not about so I think we have to do our own custom fold or something like that. We're missing numbers between, let's say, from 5 to 10, right? We're missing a whole bunch of numbers. And then the final number, the final count is supposed to be 14. Okay, so let's do this. This is not gonna work. Yeah, so so we're missing 6 7 here, and then 2 3 4 5 6, and then 8 plus 8 14. Okay, so we're gonna need to have a way to get the last element. So we're gonna say missing is gonna be missing is gonna be ranges, right? Ranges dot list dot fold left. So I have the accumulator here. It's gonna start at 0, accumulator, and the current value, and I guess there a fold left. Yeah, it's not gonna find it. Okay, so we need to do a map I first to get the index comma x, and there is create a tuple of I comma x, and then let's do, gotta be able to see the next one. Maybe I think we can do our own custom implementation here. Let's say missing count, and then it's gonna take a list, and then it's gonna be actually this is gonna be a function. I think this is how you define it, or forgot that you did that, and then you do this. I think let's do this then, I guess. List, and then match list with lst with the following. If it's this, let's return a 0. How do you match? Forgot. Oh, you can just do, okay, this is where function comes in. Okay, function and then if we have a head and a tail and an empty thing. This is gonna be still gonna be 0 because there is no diff there, right? And then if we find an x followed by a y and then followed by a tail, we're gonna do y minus x plus missing we gotta define this as a break tail. That is gonna be recursive missing count of the tail, right? And then we can just do list dot, no, I guess we can just call that on the missing count. So this is gonna be missing count of ingredients, right? I think this is it. In this case, I think I'm sure, because if we are at 1, it should be there. Do an exec. Okay, we ended up at 16 again. Let's know what both of these numbers are. Which one is to know which one is wrong. So let's see. Found and missing. So let's reprint the found first. And then let's do again with the missing. How long have we been streaming? 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay, both of them are 8. So the first one should be 8. This is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But the second one should be should be 6, because 5 minus 3 is 2. 10. Okay, so this is gonna be 2. Oh, I think I know what's happening. So we have to be, like I said, we have to be exclusive of the. This has to be minus 1. No. Maybe something like this. Y plus 1 minus x. That's not it. Let's go over our example. So 5 minus 3 is gonna be 2. 10 minus 5 plus what? That's not what we're getting though. I don't think our list of ingredients is what I expect it to be. That's why it's messing up. So let's do ingredients. Let's do a list and then let's say list dot ether and then print. It is 3, 5, 10, 12, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Big 2. Ah, Yeah, okay. 2, and then 16 minus 14 be 2 again. Then 18 minus 16 will be 2 again. 20 minus 18 will be 2 again. And then for each one, this is 7, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, right? And then 17. Well, what if we do a minus 1 for each one? It'll be 1, 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will still be too much. Let's try it though. It's gonna be 10. But maybe it's because seven, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we were missing 1 for all of them. One number. What? It's actually very wrong. We don't need to include the numbers from 5 to 10 to 5. What was I thinking? The fuck? Why was that wrong then? We need to go back way back. Way back. Holy shit, what? Yeah, we can just do. What was that all about? It was giving us 20. I'm thinking, what the fuck? 3. How do we deduplicate the same ranges though? If we're gonna do that, that's why I did that. Go, right? So how do we deduplicate them then? After we've made them into a single list, let's just go. After we've made them to be one list, range to list first comma last. Let's equals to ranges list map range to list sort unique compare in the list of the integer. Nope, that should be this. Right, and then now we have a sorted list of all the ingredients. Now we can implement the late missing. No, let's do fresh ingredients. Let's say fresh count is gonna take a function. When the list is empty, it's gonna return 0. When we have something in the list and it's a single value, it's gonna say true followed by empty. It's gonna say 1, right? We just saw 1. And then if when we see a x, let's do this. I'm gonna call this x, or this name y followed by a tail. This will be, so we just got out 3 and 5, for example, in this example. So this will be, so this range contains 3, 4, 5. You see, 5 minus 3 plus 1. So y minus x plus 1 plus fresh count of the rest of the list, and then we need to mark this as recursive. And then here we don't need to assign it to anything, and then we can say fresh count. The value ranges has type range list, but an expression was expected of type int list. Type range is not compatible with type int. What? Where? No, fresh count, no, fresh ingredients. Now I can reason about this. At least we're back to the original bug. The fuck, okay. Dun, 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 dun. We're gonna need to create our own unique function because this range includes will allow us to include like numbers, but the current approach of flattening them into one list will make us lose that information. So what we're gonna need to do is combine the ranges, like we need to create a range dot combine kind of thing, right? And then it will create a new range with where you can't represent the numbers we're supposed to skip with so the issue is in this one, for example, 10 to 20 to 14 and 12 to 18, and then these three are included, they overlap with each other. So we have 10 to 14, we have 12 to 18, and then we have 16 to 20. I don't want to generate the numbers. How much time have we spent on this? So 1 hour and 39 minutes. One hour and 40 minutes. Maybe should we start diagramming stuff? The problem is they're gonna overlap, so I don't know. Let me just do delete. Let me skip this. Let's close that. These ones combine with each other. The reason we can't create, we shouldn't, I think that approach is gonna fail is because look at these numbers. If we're gonna generate the numbers between these numbers, it's gonna be crazy. But we need to know when they overlap. We need to, so I guess for example, this will simplify these three. If you combine them, will simplify to 10 to 20, 10-20, right? And then I think we need to do something like that. But what would that logic be? So for each range, we should map it over all the other ranges, and then what would we produce? There's a smart array thing. There's a smart array thing. Should we just try the generating numbers? Let's actually check calculator. Let's go down here and say, for example, how many numbers are within this range. The numbers seem large, but maybe their difference is not that much. Minus this. Oh, that's that's humongous. We're gonna create an array of this size for each one of them, and then try to sort that to sort unique data rate just to get the length. It's not gonna work for us. It's not gonna work for us. Not gonna work. How could we combine ranges? 12 to 18, 10 to 18, 10 to 20. After creating that single sorted list, what we need to do is we need to know which ones are start and end positions, right? And then anything that's between any, we can just simplify start and ends. We can just check out them, right? But we have to, how do you match that? That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense, does it? We can assume our input is sorted, right? I think it's sorted. The range is sorted. If we just create a list of start, like instead of just flattening them out into a single list, maybe we can create a type here called a position or something like that, and then we can say it's a start position int or an start int or an end int, like this. Off, I guess. Off. And then we can, after creating, so we'll create a list of position, and then maybe after creating that we can come up with some way to, because we can know where the end positions are and where the start positions are. So if we see multiple start positions in a sequence, we can filter them out into, we can just chunk them down into a single end, right? So here we would be seeing, so for example, in the case of 3 5, so 3 5 10 12 14 16 18 20. So 3 start, 5 is an end, and then 10 is a start, 12 is a start. So we can drop 12 minus, so that's what I'm saying. And then we can say 14 is an end. So this one so this will simplify to 10 to 14, and then you can start with, and then 16 will be start again, right? And then 18 will be end, and then 20 will be end again. So if we have two sequences of ends at yeah, and then I guess let's keep going with the idea that we drop intermediate, like if we find a start, so this will be 10 to 14 will be one new range, and then start end. If we find two consecutive ends, we can remove that, and this will be 10 14 16 18. That's not correct though. How do we know that these two are actually the starts and then ends we should take? Combining ranges. I thought Rest has something like that. Rest ranges combine. I don't know how it works though. So what does chain do? I think chain just yeah, if we had Rust iterators, we can just brute force this thing very, very easily, right? Don't want to generate a list. Okay. Let's see how much time do we have left. Okay, we have 10 minutes or so. But there is oh no. I think this doesn't work. This doesn't work. But we have to maybe look for the, for example, when we analyze a range, when we are asked to see what's the distance between 3 and 5, we can see if there are any other start positions that are it's not gonna work. It's like something like this እኮ ነው አይደል? እየፈጠርን ያለናቸው ነገሮች when we turn them into a list, ይሄ የstart and end situation ነው. It's like bracket matching situation ነው. So this is like something like this. So when we were 3 and 5 እንዲህ ናቸው. So this is 3 and then this is 5. So bracket to match ያደርጋል, እዚሁ cross ያደርጋል. So that's the single independent range. But when we were creating 10, when we're creating the next, that is 10, 14. So 10, 14. No. Let's do the actual. So a process will give us a list of 3, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and then 20, right? So bracketoቹ እንደዚህ ናቸው የሚሉት. So 3 ጋር መጣው 5 ጋር ደርስ because it's an end bracket to close ተደረገ. 10 ጋር ስመጣ we need to open another bracket because we just received a new start, and then arat is also a new start, so that's the bracket is still open. 14 ጋር ይዛጋል because 14 I think is an end position. Yeah, 14 is an end position. So this is ይሄ ተዘጋ, and then 16 ጋር ስንመለስ 16 ድጋሜ ከፍተዋል because that's a start position, right? And then 18 is also an end position, and then 20 is an end position. So this all of the brackets inside this close each other, and then there is one big bracket that was created, if you get what I'm saying. So I think what we need to do is come up with some algorithm that we're gonna turn the list into this value. So this is gonna be start and end. How do we group the brackets? How do we, yeah, we need to come up with that algorithm, but and then here we need to create a let compare compare yes, compare position or not the police, then to receive a position an x and a y, or we can say receive a function of like this. It can either be start x y, you're just gonna compare x y regardless. It's gonna, it could be a start. I guess we can say match with, I can create a x comma y, x y start. This could be either an end, end, start, and then end, start, end, start. No, end. So here we can use the compare position function instead, and let's ignore that. So this will return a position list, and then we need to figure out some way to find the, to simplify the brackets. I don't know what function that is, but I'm just gonna call it combine positions. So what we should do, that's the algorithm is, we keep a list of open positions, and then we pop positions. Our accumulator is going to be, we're gonna have two accumulators. We need one like a queuing that we can keep the brackets, the last open bracket into. But I think this is I think I've seen this before in like DSA questions or something like that. Right, the problem of finding the topmost brackets. We can, actually I think I just thought of a simpler way of doing this. No, that's not gonna work though, right? I was gonna say we can create a list of like empty lists, a bunch of empty lists, and just get, no, but that's not gonna work because we won't be able to know the start of the like which number it was, and to do the final subtraction and stuff, because this is just phase one. After the reduplication phase, we need to do the subtractions and then sum them up, right? So we have a list of that, something that represents this. Find I don't know how we can solve for this, to be honest. Given this should return something like should return something like start 3 end 5 start 10 end 20. Scanning take while. Oh, take while, that's not gonna work. Okay. Let's see, let's combine positions. This is gonna be a list. I think this problem seems like a good recursion like problem if we can find a good base condition. Right, if it's okay, so if it's an empty list, this is gonna be an empty list. If it's a start and followed by a tail, what do we do in this case? We need to determine that whether this should be included, but to determine that we need to know what we got before it. Yeah. And then I think this has to be like done with multiple so I can do something like this. So we can say, if we got a start, we can say, I don't know, something like this. Then we will be combine position of the rest of the list. It should be a rake. But I don't know, that's not gonna work because that's not gonna work. Fuck it, I'm just gonna GPT my way out of this, unless someone else is giving me an answer. Come up with an algorithm to join, because I think we have passed 2 hours. Yeah, okay, to join the position ranges. it added a depth. Okay, so if we find a start and our current depth is 0 entering the outermost ridge, so we increase our depth, and then we add the current start position into the accumulator, which at this point is probably 0, and then we call call it again with the rest of it. And then if we get another start x again, I think for example like here, we're gonna nested start ignore in. Okay, since we're already inside a start, we will ignore a start. We'll ignore the start. Okay, end positions, they will do a depth -1. They will close one, like they will bring us up by 1 in the depth. If it is 0, we're gonna call it with 0 index. Otherwise it's just -1, and then we only add to the list when the depth is 0, I think. And this should work. It should work. So if we do join positions here, say that. Let me do format. Now we can just also, if I think another thing we can do is, can we do that? Now we just need to append to the list. I was gonna say if we can reconstruct the range, it would be cool. But let's say we can do this because we know it to be true. Let reconstruct range is gonna take positions and function. If it's an empty list, it's gonna be an empty list. And then if we get start x and y, not like that, but like this, followed by that tail, followed by that tail. Should be something like that. You can say y minus, I guess let's do the calculations in here. Y minus x. So the math is gonna be 5 minus 3 plus 1, because this is gonna be 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Plus 1. I guess we don't read, so this is just some ranges. And then we can say plus some ranges of the positions. Then this can be a 0, or I guess anything else will be a 0. This expression has type position list a, but see what this type is. It takes a position list and a position list. Oh. Format, load. Then I think we can say some ranges, tune format, again tune. Nice. Okay, now let's run this on our input. No, okay, reload, and then input. Okay, that's joint number. Oh no, that's not the right answer. Your answer is too low. If you're stuck, make sure you're using the full input data and also some generalities on the about page. Oh no, our first incorrect input response. I don't know, maybe I think, oh, so, I don't think there's a problem with our join function, but just I want to be able to, let's go back to your example to exec 14, which is, yeah, total is 14. I want to be able to see here. I'm gonna add a print string or print int. It's gonna be x, and then print character dash, and then print int y, and then print new line. Then maybe it's an issue with like parentalization and stuff. Yeah, so the combining actually worked correctly. Let me see what we could be. So what are the different possibilities here? We can get empty, and then we can get that shouldn't happen, but like we can get a start x with a tail. We can say in this case print string start. Similar case for end. And then let's run this for the actual input and see if there are errors. It wasn't an issue with how I copied it, right? Oh yeah, of course so. Yeah, all of them are okay, so that's not the problem. Let's just remove that then. Could there be a bug in how we're in the join function here? Um, could there be a bug in here? Yes, let's keep the example there. We only add to the accumulator when we get a start or an end position at the top, at the highest, at the top tips. Right. So that should be correct. And we didn't see any kind of start positions that were not matched with an end position and stuff when we logged this sum ranges function. But I'm not sure about the plus one. I think that's correct, right? So yeah, that's correct. Given a range from 3 to 5 or from 10 to 4, the number of like numbers that are contained within the count of the numbers that are contained within that range is gonna be, I think for this case it's gonna be 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, which is 4 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, 5 numbers. That's why we do plus 1. So we do 14 minus, right? And then the parenthesization is being removed. When I do a Dune format, because that's redundant. Yeah, it's redundant, we don't need that. But even if I do this and then do run, yeah, I think there was, for like, the reason this the hint doesn't يشوف مفتر, there was a case that was not covered by the example manager. But maybe there are cases in which there are ranges we should combine, but we shouldn't combine them. Right? The ingredient IDs that these ranges consider to be fresh are 3, 4, 5, 10, 10, 10, 10. So in this example, the fresh ingredient ID range is considered a total of 14. Am I back online now? I think I am. Hello. Am I back online now? I think I am. Hello. Am I back online now? I think I am. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm not gonna spend another 4-hour stream. I'm just gonna say paste it in. Is there a bug in this Yeah, yeah. I was offline for a couple of minutes there, and then uh, uh, data plan ያደርገው like it said I had exhausted like yeah ስንት ነው 500 ጂቢ ሜጋ ፕላን ነው የምገዛው ላይ ከዛ እሱ አልቆ ነው ከዛ I had to buy የሳፋሪኮም 500 ጂቢ ሜጋ I think 500 ጂቢ ነው I forgot ciao. And then so before that we had this solution, but advent of code was saying that we are wrong, but I don't seem to see any bugs in this. And then the other thing is it works for our input example actually ትክክለኛው መልስ ነው እናገኘው to do an exec so 14 so ለኤግዛምፕሉ እዚህ ጋር 14 ነው 14 ትክክል ነን ግን when we actually run it for the main like የኛ puzzle input it gets messed up. Okay, the serious bug you currently have this means start eggs and eggs are equally considered equal compare when you do one of them is dropped. No, one of them is dropped. That completely breaks your representation of ranges when the two ranges share a boundary. Okay, you're right. We don't need to do the sort, the unique thing. We should just do a sort, right? I think that's it. It's not correct, but now it's too high. So it's between it's between our answer is between this and minus this. That's a giant difference. But okay, let's keep on reading it. Concrete failing example. So what should I do? Because compare position one of them is removed, so you might end up with okay so actually we don't even need to do the sort in my opinion, right? No, we do need to do the sort because okay, I think let's just the join positions function depends on those like the numbers being ordered in this way. So I think it might be right. We might need to weigh different start and end positions. But I don't think it has to be a sort unique, right? Let's just do a sort, and then on our example let's make sure that we're getting the correct. The thing is, if we try advent of code with too many wrong solutions, they will block us, like መመለስ አትችሉም ይሉናል. And then what if I do a sort unique still 14 input to exec actually for this input we were told our answer is too low. For this one we were told our answer is too high, so this can't be it, right? Because this is lower than this number. And then this is greater. Wait a minute. And then another thing we I forgot though. Another thing we need to do is if the here when we're counting them, do we need to do that? Actually, sorry. So if we get told the number is 14 minus, no, it's just like sequential numbers. Like if it was 12 start and then 13 end, so the number between this is 12, 13. Well, we still need the plus one in that case. I was gonna say if x and y are equal, we shouldn't do the plus one. I was thinking of doing that. That we need to do that. But I don't think it needs to be unique. So this was, we were told this was too high. Let me just do Python here. Python. No, there is no Python here. I guess Node. We do have Node. Okay. So for this number, we were told it's too high, but now we're getting this new number. This could be it, because I don't think we should do a unique, but I don't know. I think we're gonna get banned today. Oh, nice. If this was wrong, I think Advent of Code would ban us. So they do that because like higher no while lower no Islamil, some people try to use that to brute force some solutions, like, so, and then they block people. They will say like, do you have 3 tries, and then they will block you like for the rest of the day, I think. So you can only work on tomorrow's pattern. Yeah, so I think we were able to figure it out. But the main thing, so yeah, GPT helped us with two big lifts. But like I said, and ከባለፈው ከ4 ሰዓት stream በኋላ if it just gets too complex, if we ከ2 ሰዓት በላይ ከፈጀብን እንትን እንጠቀማለን፣ AI መጠቀም አለብን። like I'm not gonna sit here for 4 hours and ባለፈው እንደተፈጠረው, so let's just do that then. So I think that by AI እንትን ያለው ይሄንን workflow, we thought of this algorithm ourselves, and then basically we used this algorithm, we told it to implement this algorithm for us. Yeah, so it's basically we convert our ranges to a list of start and end positions, and then those will be sorted, so they will be nested within each other. And then this function just joins them. So like if there is an opening bracket, just think of them as opening brackets. It will find the next closing brackets and then discard all of the values inside this because they are covered by the top level range. So that's how that's working. That's how that's working. I'm just gonna save this, and then June format. Actually, one thing I thought of doing yesterday was, if we go to the Advent of Code Reddit, people like make really funny memes and stuff like that with today's code Reddit, with today's input. When the else asked for all the IDs of the versions. I don't know why they wanted this, but okay, yep. Part to JavaScript, I'm out of ideas. Yeah, people are, this one is like ግማሽ ቀን እየቀረብን ስለሆነ they're getting harder and harder. What? How? Oh, this is day 1. Okay, what the heck? We're talking about day 5. Day 5 memes. Okay, day 5. Oh no, you may try. Python works on example and more, but not on full input. Yeah, there is a Did you do it? Yeah, the code for my friend. And yeah, we didn't do it. We took the shortcut. We took the shortcut out. Okay, so I think this comment should be here. It explains it very well. It explains the algorithm. So let's just add commit fit into parser. And then let's go to the I think I don't know if I think so. We're already 5 days in, almost halfway there. Oh, Kamal, we're already halfway there, but I don't know if I know 12 languages. Like I can, like I think that would be fine, but I don't know. What else do we have left? We can do someday with TypeScript. We can do a day with Go. We can do a day with Zig. እስካሁን Zig አልጠቀምንም. So that will give us 3 days. Yeah, without repeating a language. የአሁን advent of code ብንጨርሰው ጥሩ ነው. That's good. Hopefully, yeah, like I think alternate ነው እያደረጉ ያሉት at this point. አንድ ቀን ቀላል ይሆናል፣ አንድ ቀን ቀላል፣ አንድ ቀን ከባድ እየሆኑ ነው ያሉት. Hopefully tomorrow's will be easy. Seems like we're going into some kind of basement. Yeah, ትላንትና ኤፒሶድ ፔፐር ሮሎቹን ኦርጋናይዝ ማድረግ እዚህ ጋር አለ። ይሄ ካፍቴሪያው ነው. It's supposed to be probably these are tables, and then we're going down some chute. I don't know what we'll be doing there tomorrow, but yeah. So let me just update the readme. Make sure update readme. Push. Yeah, I've completed the 2 parts, but like I said, for the second for part 2, we came up with this example, but I didn't actually. So basically what we did was where is it? It's hard actually. We just used so main ml part 2. So we had this fresh ingredients function. It takes in arranges, and then we are parsing them into this structure, arrange structure, where we get the first and last value. So basically handing out maps over them, converts the range into a list, and the list list action start and end positions are start first and first mail. I think one or the yeah, so start and end positions አሉን። ከዛ በኋላ እነዚህ start and end positions, if you think of them, and then we sort them. Basically we sort them with our compare function to make sure that to make sure that if there are like 2 start positions, they will be compared by, if they are start and end positions, they will be compared by the x and y. But if it's a start x followed by an end y, we put the start first, right? Yeah, so if they are both equal, we're gonna return with we're gonna say they're equal, but always we're gonna always say that the start one should come first, so that we don't accidentally, when sorting them, the end one doesn't come first. So we basically have this custom compare function, and then if you think of the final list we have for the example, it's going to be something like this: start end 5, start end. And then if you think of them as opening and closing brackets, so start 3 will open 1 and then end will close it, the start 10 will open 1, the start 12 will open 1 again, and then end 14 will close it, the start 16 will open a new bracket, and end 18 will close it. So what the algorithm we need to come up with is it's gonna need to simplify these ranges to the highest to the arrays, to the like positions that, or I guess groups that are at the top level. So basically we have this function here that does that. It just recurses over the positions. So if we get an empty list, we just return the accumulator. We just have to reverse this because we're just appending stuff to the start, not the end. That's just a functional programming thing. You can ignore that. We just return the array. Just consider this as returning the array. And if we get a like የአሁኑ ሊስት እያየነው ላይ የመጀመሪያ ፖዚሽን እያየን ያለ ነው ኤክስ ከሆነ and our current debs, where are we in the nested list? So if we are at 0, we start at 0, we increase the debs, and then we add the current x to our list of final positions, and then we call the function again with the tail. ከዚህ በኋላ ያለው ማለት ነው። ከዛ so the next function call would be end 5 and stuff like that. So if then it will pattern merge to this, right? Because the first element is an end. So now we will decrease the debs to 0, and if the debs is 0, we can add the end position to the accumulator, because we know that we just started a position and then closed it by doing the -1. So we can add the end position to the current end position to the list, and then we call the same function again with the tail. Now we're at start 10, right? Seriously, we're at start 10. So when we go into start 10, now the debs is 0 again, so we increase the debs by 1, and then we add the current start to the final to our final list, and then we call the same function with the tail again. But now we receive another start. So if we receive another start, debs will not be 0, so we'll go into this else branch. So if we are at that else branch, we don't add anything to the accumulator, we just increase the debs and then call the function again. And then now we see an end position. So basically this is how it just goes. It just keeps track of the debs positions, and then only adds the current position or the current start or end value to the list if we are at the 0 debs, and then all of the nested values will get dropped because the top level debs will contain them. And then once we have the final ranges, we can it's just basically just grouping the list into 2 values, and those values will be a start value and an end value, and then we do y minus x plus 1, because so this will generate 3,5 and then 10,20. So you can just to sum up the values that are contained within that range, you need to do 5 minus 3 2, and then but they said we have to be inclusive, so we have to add 1, so it will be 3, and then 20 minus 10. No, 5 minus 3 is 2, so we have to do 2, and then 20 minus 10 is 10. We have to be inclusive, so we gotta do plus 1. So 11 ሲደመር 3 14. So that's how these are the sequence of steps that happen. So we sort it, we join it, we sum it. But yeah, today I think I can say today was the hardest one, specifically combining this ranges thing. And the other annoying thing is that if your algorithm works for the example, that doesn't mean that's gonna work for the final output. So that was the annoying part, but I gotta go now, so goodbye everyone. Yeah, goodbye. End the live stream.